Line by his legal representative, Mlilo Nqobizitha. Mlilo, thank you so much for joining us. Is he really arrested?
Thank you very much. Yes, he has been arrested at the Zambia border, the Chirunda border post. His intention was to claim political asylum in Zambia. He is of the opinion that his life has been in danger, and he requires the protection of the Zambian government.
How is his life in danger?
Well, over the past few days, there have been people who have been harassing his mother. There have been people who come with various cars without registration numbers and in plain clothes at the dark hours of the day. This has happened for 3 consecutive days. The day before yesterday, one of his vehicles was shot at. Gunfire was shot, and that all, the combination of all that, creates a reasonable impression in him that his life is in danger and it requires the protection of another government other than the government of Zimbabwe.
So why was he arrested? Is it Zimbabwean authorities or Zambian authorities?
No, the unique situation about the Zambian border is that it's a one-stop shop. So in exactly the same room, this side is the Zimbabwean immigration, and the other side is the Zambian immigration. So he was on the Zambian side of immigration, intending to cross into Zambia to claim political asylum. So he was on the Zambian side.
Both the South African President and the United Nations Secretary General have, while congratulating Zimbabwe, also asked that legal processes be followed in terms of any questions about the outcomes of the elections. Is Mr. Biti intending, through yourself, to go through these processes, the legal route?
Yeah, I'm sure you would have noticed that the president of the MDC Alliance has indicated that court processes are being followed to challenge the results as announced by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, and I'm reliably informed that the papers have been finalized and ready to go to court. So there is every intention to pursue all the legal means available as provided for in the Electoral Act and in the Constitution of Zimbabwe to see to it that the issue is properly ventilated in court and all the disputes surrounding the election are dealt with. What is of importance and concern now is that the safety of all political actors in Zim must be guaranteed. The views of people must be allowed to be expressed, and it is unfortunate that the might of the state would be used to descend on Mr. Biti.
Mr. Nqobizitha, is your client safe?
He has not been safe for a very long time. He has tried to remain strong under the circumstances, but with each day that passes, not only is his life in danger, but the life of his family, and which is why it has necessitated that he seeks political asylum in Zambia.
What's going to happen going on now as his legal counsel? What's within your powers? What can you do?
Well, it's a rather difficult situation, but we are doing all we can to ensure that we get the matter to be heard. We have indicated to the Zambian authorities that he intends to seek political asylum. So the necessary legislation and institutions in Zambia should be activated to the effect that Mr. Biti intends to seek political asylum. Hear what he has to say. There is international law that governs how people claim political asylum, and the intention is to follow all those processes.
Where is he as we speak?
He's at the Chirunda border post.
And they're retaining him there?
Yes, they're detaining him there, yes.
Do you have any idea what's going to happen going forward?
Well, the intention is, if there's going to be respect of international law, and for that matter, respect of Zambian domestic law, once a person has claimed political asylum, that person has to be heard. He has to be able to present his case to an appropriate body, adduce the evidence that he deems necessary and appropriate to convince the presiding officials that his life is in danger and requires protection of under international law. So that is the intention for now. The intention is to ensure that his case around a claim of political asylum goes through the necessary processes and the necessary legal framework in Zambia.
Are you with Mr. Biti? Are we able to speak to him?
Well, you'll understand that presently is under a lot of strain. He has been under a lot of strain for a very long time, and we also want to respect the Zambian authorities, whom we have already indicated to that the intention is to claim political asylum. So, for present purposes, let's allow this process to go on, and if the opportunity avails itself, I'm sure he would be happy to speak to you.
Mr. Nqobizitha, your client, along with his colleagues in the alliance, have been accused of fomenting violence, the post-election violence that took place in Zimbabwe. Are you satisfied that your client, his hands are clean?
His hands are clean. He's a dove. He's not an agent of force. He's not an agent of violence. The MDC has been a political party in Zimbabwe since 2000, or the end of 1990, from 1998 to 1999, and around 2000. And no violence has been labeled against the MDC, despite the conditions that were there. So he has always been an agent of peace, who seek to have some sort of political transition happening in Zim through peaceful and democratic means. There is nothing that has happened that has caused him to reconsider his position, and that is the intention.
Are there any chances that he will be released after this detention today?
Well, the intention is to seek political asylum. We've already made the indication that we want to seek political asylum, and the necessary processes in Zambia have to be activated to have him to say what it is that he wants to say, and then we take things from there. But the point for present purposes is that we've made a claim for political asylum, and the necessary institutions and processes in Zambia must be kicked in, and he be given an opportunity to put up a proper case for seeking political asylum under domestic and international law.
If he gets asylum in Zambia, how will he be able to participate in the processes of determining the causes of the post-election violence in Zimbabwe?
The present matter of concern is his safety and that of his family. Let's deal with the issues of politics much later on. For present purposes, we need to secure his safety. Human life is important, and much more important than one's involvement in everything else. So for presently, the issue is to ensure that he's safe. Then we'll take things from there.
Mr. Mlilo Nqobizitha, we thank you so much for your time as the legal representative for Mr. Tendai Biti, who has, as you just heard there, been detained at the Zimbabwe-Zambia border.